the question here is, do Senate Democrats really believe that infants already born because they survived an abortion are not human beings with human rights? No, of course not. They're all grandparents, right? Many of them are parents. Of course they believe that an infant already born should not be allowed to be killed and have their death sanctioned by the United States government. But they will sanction their murder anyways. Why? Why would they look at an abortion survivor infant wriggling around on the table and say we shouldn't pass laws to protect them? Well, Democrats' defense in voting against this bill was twofold. Firstly, they argued something like this. They said, we already have laws against infanticide, and so therefore this is a Trojan horse bill with a far-right anti-abortion goal, right? They said that this bill was unnecessary because we already had laws against infanticide. But that doesn't acknowledge the fact that many abortionists are getting away with it anyways, killing infants who survive botched abortions or just letting them die, which is killing them. Alexandra DeSanctis at National Review breaks this down for us. She says that there is no existing federal law that requires doctors to provide medical care for infants who survive an abortion procedure. The Born Alive Infants Protection Act of 2002 established that the terms person, human being, child, and individual in federal law include every infant born alive, even after an abortion. But it instituted no penalties for physicians who neglect to care for such infants. And as of 2014, only 26 states mandated care for infants born alive after an attempted abortion. And those state laws can, of course, be changed. So the point is that many states don't require that abortionists or physicians care for the lives of children who were born alive during botched abortions. And so they're getting away with allowing these children to die or even actively killing them. And this line from the Democrats said, we already have laws against infanticide, so this anti-infanticide bill is not necessary, is quite hilarious, given that I believe Kamala Harris in 2019 was the co-sponsor of a bill that labeled lynching a federal hate crime. Now listen, that's great. Lynchings are horrible. It's ironic that she sanctions womb lynchings, which would be another word for abortion. But let me ask you a question. Is it illegal to kill black people regardless of how you do it? Yeah, it's illegal to kill black people regardless of how you do it. So would it matter that we killed them through lynchings? No, that would still be murder, and that murder would still be prosecuted, wouldn't it? So you wouldn't need to label lynchings a federal hate crime because we already have laws against murder regardless of how you murder someone. But they thought that passing that law was still very important. So it's just complete BS that Democrats are not willing to pass laws against certain behaviors that they think we already have laws against. Clearly, the lynching case stands as an example. The other defense is that they say babies being born alive after botched abortions doesn't happen. They just kind of deny it, right? They say this doesn't happen. This is just a conservative pro-life talking point. Well, that begs the question, then what do you have to lose in voting against the bill? What would you have to lose politically in voting against an anti-infanticide bill if these don't even happen anyways? Just vote against infanticide to protect infants born alive during botched abortions, just in case there might be some circumstances where it happens. According to the Live Action News piece, though, state reports from recent years tell a different and more tragic story. Since 2008, and reporting from only 5 states, over 100 babies were born alive while abortions were committed on them and their mothers. 4 of the 27 instances of babies born alive over the years in Florida took place in 2020. Just last year. And the Centers for Disease Control has also reported that at least 143 babies known to have survived abortions nationwide between 2003 and 2014. But the CDC added that this number is likely, quote, an underestimation, right? Because we don't have procedures in place to ensure that we know when babies are born alive during botched abortions, because abortionists can get away with it by telling the mother that the baby was dead, by snipping their spinal cords, right, as abortionists have done, and then throwing them in the dumpster, okay? So how can we know that these are happening or not happening is very difficult. So the numbers are probably much higher.